7 News at 10.
Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us here at 10 o'clock, and thanks to those of you joining us on our First Alert 7 YouTube page. I'm Jay Hendricks. Tonight is a story that is all new here at 10 o'clock. Planning and Zoning Commissioner John Burkholder's participation in a vote that led to a complaint and a possible ethics violation. In August, Burkholder voted against daycare services at the future Northwest location of the Midland YMCA while living across the street from that site. An ad hoc committee says his failure to recuse himself from the vote is a violation of the city's ethics code, which says, quote, an officer shall not engage in conduct prejudicial to the governance of the city, end quote. But Burkholder says his attorney says he was fine to vote. We'll have more in-depth look at that story coming up for you tomorrow. Another story we're following, a second arrest has been made after the death of 25-year-old Alex Bingham. We first told you about this on Monday of this week. You're looking at 24-year-old Nadia Trevino, who was arrested and charged with furnishing alcohol to a minor. This comes after 18-year-old Jose Contreras' charges were upgraded to collision involving death and intoxication assault in the death. A third teenager was arrested in connection to a drive-by shooting that killed a 22-year-old Midland woman back on October 19th. Investigators executed a search and arrest warrant for this man, 18-year-old Daniel Velasquez. According to arrest affidavits for the other two suspects that already have been arrested, at least 3 people were in the car during a drive-by shooting. Midland police say they are still looking for evidence in this particular case. If you hit the streets for a fun night of trick-or-treating, Halloween night, the Department of Public Safety has some tips to keep you safe, and hopefully you were safe out there collecting candy tonight. They recommend that you wear costumes, bright and reflective, to help drivers see you at night. If you have a darker costume, they urge you to put reflective tape. Make sure that you stay with your little ones on the sidewalk and out of the way of traffic, and set up a meetup location in case you get separated. For adults, if you're hitting the clubs on Halloween, they say don't ruin it by drinking and driving, and be aware while driving through neighborhoods. Do not assume the kids near the street are paying attention. You can find a full list of those safety tips on our website, firstalert7.com. Earlier today, Odessa Fire Rescue and Odessa Police Department hosted their trunk or treat. The event had candy, costumes, and community time. OFR Fire Chief Jason Cotton even dressed up for this and said the turnout for this year is the largest they've seen and loves being involved in the community.
So we put a lot more effort into, I believe, this year on making it a bigger event. We invited more people. We've got Atmos here, Joint Chiropractic, we've got PD, our dispatch, our fire marshal's office, a couple fire stations, and a lot of candy, so it's always good.
Chief Cotton, by the way, does not look like that all the time. Tonight, by the way, they also helped in the downtown Odessa's treats on the street. A spectacular and spooky display in Southwest Virginia has become a community favorite. It was created by an 8-year-old who spends all year collecting his money to make it all happen. We're going to show you about his love for Halloween.
No one embodies the Halloween spirit.
This is a hanging mummy I got from the spirit store.
Quite like 8-year-old Harvey Heffernan.
I started decorating for Halloween 3 years ago.
He transforms his family's front yard into Halloween Town.
It just slides on like that.
But Harvey's passion for the spooky holiday runs much deeper than setting up decorations.
I guess because they're scary.
Do you want to scare people with your decorations?
Yes.
And scary they certainly are. His display features everything from witches, skeletons, and clowns.
He says 2 phrases.
Every piece of decor has been purchased with his own money, earned from birthdays, holidays, and allowances.
I saved my money up for the witch.
He even started Harvey's Cider and Donuts to collect funds.
It's something he looks forward to every year. Literally July 5th, after we're done watching fireworks, he says, "Dad, can we get out the Halloween stuff?"
While John Heffernan helps Harvey in his mission, he knows who the true mastermind is.
I'm only the assistant. My son is really the director, and he's the one that puts everything where it belongs and where it goes, and I don't question anything.
Do you use some rebar?
It's not just a hobby for Harvey. He learns about hard work, building props, and assembling every spooky piece. His favorite part, you might ask, when people slow down, take pictures, and claim them as the Halloween house.
This is how big it is compared to me.
So if you find yourself driving down McVitie Road and Wind Drive this Halloween, be sure to appreciate Harvey's work of art. The boy whose love for Halloween shines brighter than any pumpkin in the patch. Reporting in Roanoke County, Patsy Montesinos, WDBJ 7.
In McCamey today, kids and adults gathered for the annual Trunk or Treat featuring law enforcement officers, also including the Upton County Sheriff Sarah Brown and her deputies. As you can see, there were lots of people who attended. This was held in the McCamey Park. As you can see, lots of great costumes, and it was a beautiful night for trick-or-treating. Of course, now the trick-or-treating is over. That means time for a weather change, and also means the start of the holiday season. Chief Meteorologist Tom Teever-Teller joins us now. We're going to transition now from Halloween into Thanksgiving and then Christmas.
Yeah, we are going to be looking at some bigger changes coming up in our forecast too, as we're going to be seeing things a little stormier here over the next couple of days. Let's go ahead and take a look at those temperatures again. Seeing those readings into the low 70s today. That's what we saw over towards Midland and Big Spring too, so ignore those 280s there, as things were much cooler today across the area. And it's kind of turning into a cool evening, lower 60s now, so not too bad out there for trick-or-treating this evening, but already down to 53 in Alpine, 52 in the Hobbs area, and not a lot of wind. It's coming out of the east about 5 to 10 miles an hour. It's going to come around to the southeast towards morning. That's going to bring in some clouds, and temperatures not quite as chilly overnight tonight, dropping down into the mid-50s. Tomorrow, though, with that added Gulf moisture, mix in a little sunshine, some thunderstorm possibilities back in our forecast. We'll talk a little more about that coming up here in just a few minutes.
If you've driven over by the old KOSA studios on Whitaker, south of Odessa High School, you may have noticed a couple is now working to turn an old building there, the old KOSA studios, into a place of hope for the community. And while it may look like a haunted house right now, it's actually a symbol of hope, hope for the homeless. Daniel Abernathy and his wife plan to renovate this old building and turn it into a community shelter for the unhoused.
If they don't have an education, I want to help them get a GED. I want to help them get their driver's license. I want to help them get their IDs. I want to help them get their birth certificates. I want to help them go through drug and alcohol classes.
They plan to split the space into 2 kitchens, a few bathrooms, office spaces, and lots of living spaces for men, women, and families. When the building is fully renovated, Abernathy says he expects to be able to house 150 people at a time. A medical center hospital doctor, Dr. John Dorman, has integrated Apple's latest augmented reality headset into patient care and surgical provision. In the field of neurosurgery, this real-time visualization, he says, offers safer and more precise surgeries like removing tumors and hemorrhages. Dr. Dorman recently bought an Apple Vision Pro and decided to use it in surgery for a craniotomy. The Apple Vision Pro augmented reality capabilities allowed him to see images of the patient's brain, all while keeping his attention on the surgical operation.
You can stay focused on the patient, do your surgery, and then the CAT scan or MRI is right there with you, so you're not having to divert your attention away from the surgical field.
Dr. Dorman says this will not be his last time using the Apple Vision Pro in surgery. In fact, he plans on applying this to more than just neurosurgery. Another sports complex is coming to the Permian Basin. Odessa Compass Academy is planning to build a new sports complex, and they started their Education Foundation campaign to raise money for it. The new sports complex will consist of 8 tennis courts, baseball fields, softball fields, and football field with a track, field house along with basketball and volleyball facilities, plus a weight room. Right now, Odessa Compass Academy does not have athletic facilities. The football team plays their games at Astound Broadband or Ratliff Stadium. The track team has to travel to their track meets, and the golf team has limited options to practice. Tennis team, meanwhile, has to practice at the country club. The new facility changes all of this.
Our facilities is going to be able to help us to have our own home football games, you know, possibly have our own host a track meet or host a district meet, help out with our other districts that we're in. With another gym, it's going to help us be able to have more basketball teams or volleyball teams.
Odessa Compass Academy is seeking outside donations to start the project, and once phase 1 is completed, there are plans to expand the school.
The next phase for the Education Foundation would be to build a brick and mortar high school for our high school students. We're currently housed in portables, which are great buildings, but we want a brick and mortar complete campus.
The school is aiming to raise between $30 to $40 million to start that new project. Still ahead here on First Alert 7 News at 10. In the spirit of Halloween, we're talking about zombies. No, not real ones, but this one is a star. More on this, more details on that coming up next. Well, Halloween may be over, but while you're taking the kids around for trick-or-treating, or if you did so tonight, we hope you took a moment to look up into the night sky, because scientists expect a stellar explosion some 3,000 light years away to wake a dead star sometime soon. Meteorologist Sawyer McElroy spoke with a NASA scientist about this zombie star appearing in the night sky soon.
You'll remember we first told you about the T Corona Borealis back in August, the zombie star that is expected to go nova and be visible in the night sky.
A zombie star shouldn't scare you. It's a nickname for a nova explosion. For a very brief time, it will be an undead star, so hence the nickname zombie star.
This star was expected to go nova by September, but this once-in-a-lifetime event still hasn't happened just yet. You might be wondering, well, what's the holdup?
It's being observed continuously, and so we see this precursor event, this warning sign. If you use exactly the time when it started in 1946 and you predict when the nova explosion should go off, it really should have gone off by now. But if you use the predictor of the time between the last two explosions, then we've got another couple years before it would go off.
Even though it has taken longer than expected, this will still be an exciting astronomical event, providing scientists with a better understanding of future nova events and the role that they play in the development of solar systems.
Things like carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, they are produced in these nova explosions, and they're also distributed throughout the region where that event is happening. This is how heavier elements that are so important in the formation of planets, and in our case, life, how they get distributed throughout the galaxy. So they're extremely important for understanding that process.
For those who are hoping to catch a glimpse of this so-called zombie star, it's going to be a little tough. While it may be visible to us on Earth, it may blend into other stars in the night sky. Of course, it will be viewed easier through telescopes or binoculars. We have some helpful tips on how to spot it at FirstAlert7.com. For First Alert 7 News, I'm meteorologist Sawyer McElroy.
Well, it does look like the threat of thunderstorms back in our forecast here over the next couple of days, even some strong storms that we'll talk about coming up next.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, some bigger changes are on the way. We got the cool air right now, but rain showers, thunderstorms in the forecast as it's this next storm system moving along the Pacific coast there. It's going to dig out a deep trough of low pressure. It's going to develop some low pressure back across the Rockies. Some disturbances are going to roll across, and that's going to kick off some showers and thunderstorms. Looks like starting tomorrow, but especially coming up on Saturday. Right now across the state, things are pretty quiet as all the thunder shower activity moving offshore. Just a couple of showers down across deep South Texas, but we're looking relatively quiet. High pressure settling in. That's going to bring in southeasterly winds overnight tonight, so it's going to start to bring in the Gulf moisture. The low clouds will be visible in the morning hours as things are really cooling off. Amarillo, Lubbock, already seeing temperatures into the 40s out there, lower 60s across the Midland, Odessa area at the present time. There's that cloud cover moving in across the area first thing in the morning, indicative of the Gulf moisture that's going to be streaming across. And by tomorrow afternoon, after about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, see some isolated showers and thunderstorms develop across the upper Trans-Pecos, maybe the lower Trans-Pecos too, and moving into the Permian Basin. So We'll have an isolated strong to severe storm, it looks like, roaming around the Permian Basin early on. Might cause some delay for area football games, depending upon how close the lightning gets to the stadium sites. And then moving the clock ahead towards Saturday, it looks like more scattered showers and thunderstorms developing in the afternoon and moving across during the evening hours. And here's where we could see a severe thunderstorm in the forecast. Biggest threats are going to be large hail, strong damaging winds, with anything develops just isolated ones tomorrow, maybe becoming a little more widely scattered in the forecast coming up on Saturday. So for the rest of tonight, looking for those temperatures again into the lower to mid 50s out there. So not quite as chilly as it was this morning, as east winds will become southeasterly towards the morning and stay a little gusty tomorrow, pumping in that Gulf moisture as temperatures again will moderate a little bit into the mid 70s, but getting into the 80s with the sunshine across the Trans-Pecos. And again, that's enough to destabilize the air and kick off some thunderstorms. Best chance is going to be coming up on Saturday afternoon into the evening hours. Then we should clear out coming up on Sunday as we fall back 1 hour early Sunday morning and get off of daylight saving time. Next week, more breeze on the way and another cold front, it looks like, arriving Election Day, dropping temperatures down into the 40s for morning lows.
Well, Tom, hopefully the weather holds up because we have a Tall City Showdown at Astound Broadband Stadium tomorrow night. We'll hear from Clint Hartman and Thad Fortune after the break.
Now sports with Sports Director Jair Brooks Davis from the Ford Sports Desk.
Tomorrow night will be the Tall City Showdown between the Midland Bulldogs and the Legacy Rebels. One question I have is, will the Tall City be maroon or purple? Let's hear from both coaches.
Everybody gets mad because I say Midland's maroon. It's going to be maroon till they win. I mean, it is what it is. And so they got till Friday. It's still maroon, and then they beat us, then it can be purple for a year. We'll see. We ain't going to plan on letting it happen. But as far as, I think that it's a really healthy rivalry. I think these kids know each other. I think the alumni come out and they support the kids, and they pull for their side of town.
The Midland High Bulldogs and the Midland Legacy Rebels sit with 2-1 records in district. Both teams hoping to have the bragging rights in the Tall City for the next year.
I think for the kids, it's probably bigger than it is for me.
The Tall City rivalry game is big, just like any other game that's on the schedule.
I mean, last week was a big game. The week before was a big game. For the Midland High Bulldogs, every game is massive. And so we've got to just continue to prepare the right way.
Both coaches have a profound respect of each other's styles and abilities.
You know, they've done a good job. They're physical on offense. They give you a lot of stuff to prepare for on defense. I wish them all the best, except Friday for about 3.5 hours.
They've been the class of the district, the better part of the last decade. And so they just they got very good players, very good coaches, and that makes for a good game.
And the question of will Midland be maroon or purple for the next year will be answered on Friday night. And in more football tonight, the Andrews Mustangs were visiting the Pecos Eagles. Game tied in the first quarter. Leroy Milan puts the Mustangs up 6-0 with a touchdown, and right after, they went for two. Jayshawn DuBose gets the snap and goes to his right. He's left untouched as he crosses the goal line. Now keep the camera on him. Next possession, Cade Adams goes deep to DuBose. He's left untouched once again as he makes it to the end zone for the touchdown. Andrews got the win tonight, 41-21. Now, it was a spooky day at Permian as they had their annual Halloween baseball game. First Lord 7's Jensen Young has the latest.
Happy Halloween from McKinley's Field. It is the annual Field of Screams event at Permian High School. We had some great Halloween costumes. Let's meet some of the players.
Today I got with me Cooper and Hayden, my Uncle Lucas. We're the bench warmers. I like the way his wig looks, and I like the way his helmet is.
I like bombs.
Diggers.
Soldier Boy, don't play.
I am the champ. I am unbeatable, the strongest, the best. No one can beat me and take me off my throne. That's why I wear it.
You're Candy. You're King. Candy.
Each year, the Permian baseball and softball teams hold a ragball game for Halloween, though some might be confused.
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball. Dodgeball. You heard him. Dodgeball.
It's a chance to come together with the Permian community to have fun dressing up and raise money along the way.
I like being a part of it because this is like the people I spend the most time with all the time, all week. And I just like being a part of fun stuff like this.
Just have fun with my friends, because not everybody gets to do this every day, so I try to make the most of it for sure.
And what would a ball game be without some umpires? Well, that looks about right.
No, we're doing a real good job out here. We're pretty good at it.
The day brings out great teamwork and great competition.
This is Nacho Libre, my greatest competitor.
I can win that back. That's light. You ain't gonna hold that for long.
I beat him the first time for it.
Yeah, one time.
I really needed to go badly, so I just went to the toilet, let it out, and I let it a big junk.
Wishing you a happy Halloween, I'm Jensen Young.
Happy Halloween!
Thank you, Soldier Boy.
Well, they all have better Halloween costumes than me. I'm just myself tonight, guys. Sorry to kill the joy. And before we go, the Jets, right now they have a lead over the Houston Texans in the Meadowlands. The Texans will be back in action on November 10th. Now, that's all the time we have for tonight in sports. More to come after the break.